It's called Smut. Give me smut and nothing but a dirty novel I can't shut if it's uncut.
Is this a new candle?
and unsung.
It's been there for a while.
This candle has been here for a while.
I don't think I've ever noticed it's a taco.
Let's talk about it.
Oh,
It's from the Dollar Tree, and Keenan got it months ago, but it's so cute that I don't want to light it on fire.
and melt it.
I feel like it'd be
It's a cute
sad.
listener, it's a taco with a little smiley face on him, sitting on top of a candle, and then there's
Yeah.
text on the front of the candle that says, "Let's talk about it."
It's classic. It's classy. It's simple.
I have a feeling
elegant.
it's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those things that, like, if I ever have kids in 20 years, they're gonna pick that unburnt candle up and go, "Mom, where did you get this?" It's gonna live forever.
There used to be a store called the Dollar Tree.
The
Oh my
Dollar
gosh.
Tree when we had water and you could buy water there.
And we had water.
We had water, and the world wasn't literally and
The world
figuratively
was
on fire.
fire.
Well, it was figuratively on fire, but
What's the name? Keenan and I landed on a child's name, and it's based on
you
someone.
did.
It's based on someone who tried to kill a president.
What?
What's the Oswald?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oswald.
You want to name the first name?
We want their name to be Oswald Kennedy Camp.
I think that is.
What?
It's a good name.
It's not.
Oswald Kennedy Camp.
You're gonna call him Ozzy for short.
Ozzy for short,
Wow.
or a boy or a girl.
You're gonna name a girl
Gender-
Oswald.
Ozzy.
Ozzy.
Oh, but not that. The full name wouldn't be Oswald if it's a girl.
Maybe
You could
Oswald.
name her Oswin.
Please, Oswin, do that.
Oswin.
It'll
Please
be
don't
one of
name
those.
Please
Yeah.
don't name a woman Oswald.
But still, it's a good name.
Yeah, I mean,
Oswald.
Ozzy Kennedy Camp. Oswald
See,
Kennedy
Ozzy
Camp.
Kennedy Camp I like. I will be honest, not to judge your future child, but Oswald Kennedy does not roll off the tongue very
correct.
well.
I love it.
And you should. It's your child.
It's my hypothetical
pick.
child
It's your
that I will
hypothetical
probably never have.
I mean, Ozzy is cute and fun.
Ozzy's
I do
cute
like
and fun.
Ozzy.
And I look forward to the conversation where they have to tell friends why they're named what they're named.
Well, Keenan and I both decided on it purely because we want to get a weird look from a third grade teacher. Oh my god! Who is like, did you guys?
Did you know?
Did you know? And we'll go, yeah. And
my
then
God.
continue on with the parent-teacher conferences.
As long as you don't name your future maybe non-existent child something with like a Y, like Lakin.
oh,
What?
Yeah.
oh, like the
Have you seen that meme?
the
or
basic,
the
yeah.
basic girl who's like possible names, and it's like Kylie, but it's like two Y's and one I, and then
It's like Kennedy, but it would be KYNNIDIE.
Yeah.
Like one of those.
stupidest fucking way. I get so angry when I see that picture because I'm like, who let this woman reproduce?
I
Who
get
let
that.
her? Who picked her? To reproduce with. Yes, she has glossy hair and the white sweater with the blue jeans with the brown knee-high boots.
What else is she wearing?
I think this is what she's wearing. I don't know. This is what I'm
Is
assuming.
she wearing a
she's
fall scarf?
I assume she has fall all over her.
Does she have earrings on?
Maybe.
Okay.
She
you
has
can't see it
blondish-
because she has long blonde
she has-
hair.
is
It's
over the
brown hair,
ears,
but
yeah.
it looks
Oh, it's
blonde
brown.
because of all the
Oh.
highlights.
Oh, it's an ombre.
Also,
Yes.
while I'm getting fired up about men,
I mean, we've all had a week.
We've had a week.
in hot.
I had a date this week. It was fine, but I got really mad beforehand because I was on TikTok as usual. I
Yep.
think most of my podcast thoughts, aka the thoughts that I want to save
Come from TikTok.
to
yeah.
talk to you
TikTok?
guys about the beginning of the podcast.
so
Same
you
here.
were
Comes from TikTok.
filled with rage before
Filled
a
with
date.
rage because I somehow in my whatever it's called the algorithm
yeah.
Right.
for TikTok have been getting like thirst trap men, but they're always like, oh, I want to. Like, I'm hot, but this is my wife, and I'm going to surprise her. And I'm like, well, why are you being thirsty on this if you have a wife? And
Married people can be thirsty.
They absolutely can.
Correct, but not to me. And then second, I keep getting people. It's part of a TikTok trend where it'll be like, I woke up with a strange tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
Or they'll do something else, but it'll end with like, I'm looking for a girl with thick thighs and heavy sarcasm. I'm right here. None of them are in Chicago apparently, but I'm right here.
Wow.
So what I'm hearing really is that you're mad that the algorithm isn't more specific,
Yeah.
Or specific to my dating
or
life.
that anybody
Or
that makes
bringing-
the thick thighs and sarcasm TikTok doesn't immediately get a notification like Tinder,
Yes.
going, "Hey, have you met Emily?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have
you met Emily?
Just saying. Or I just want them to say.
reference.
First of all, loved it. Second of all, I just want them to say at the end, also I'm in Chicago. Or,
That's fair.
oh, I'm in this city, so I don't get my hopes up.
If they click on your TikTok profile though, does it have your location listed?
I'm not on my I don't have my face on my TikTok, on my personal one. It's my author TikTok, and I post things about movies and my book that I don't want my face on there.
Gotcha.
And I don't fully know why.
I hate to break it to you though, but our faces are all over this podcast's TikTok and all the social media.
That's
in
fine.
addition to our full names.
Yeah. And also,
I'm using my author name.
But which is also the
No,
the
your
name.
your name is also fully on most of our social media.
But also,
it says Emily Barrage.
Yes, but
Emily,
that one is
with an Emily in parentheses.
Yeah, but they don't know my last name.
But your real Instagram is tagged.
Yeah.
I was
that's
gonna
fine.
say they also can then find your TikTok. If your TikTok found that Instagram, they could very easily find your other.
That's also my.
Instagram.
Oh yeah,
I know
that's
it's your
fair.
the author one,
But it's more like
Otherwise, I mean, I'm
That's
being the
fine.
brave one, putting myself out there, but
You are so
you go
brave.
ahead and hide behind. Also, we said your full name in the
we
introduction
did.
episode of
we
this.
did, and I tried to cut it out, and I was like, fuck it.
You
now
can
people are gonna be
beep
like,
your-
what is her last name?
You
They're-
can like beep your thing and just do that, or like
Yeah, true.
make a noise. I just had an idea.
Do you want to come up with a beep?
No, I think our beep should be like some really weird sex noise.
Wait, what's the one from Letterkenny where it's like, or like,
all I know is that
fuck.
yes, 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 yes,
Yes, no, what Sean just did.
yes, 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 yes,
Yes, thank you.
Wait, there's
Letterkenny.
another one that he does that goes like, oh yeah,
If
I think any of those would just take.
I'll pull
those,
from-
take
yeah.
those, and
Just in
go
case-
back and bleep out your last name with
Yeah.
one of those.
because
sounds.
we kind of glazed over it, we are referencing a show called Letterkenny. That if you haven't watched, highly recommend.
highly recommend.
Yeah.
But
What are we talking about today?
You also haven't even
we should
introduced
say
yourself.
welcome.
Oh,
You say it.
y'all fucking. I'm Jess. I'm Jess.
I'm Emily.
Hopefully, you've been listening long enough that you know who we are.
I'm Sean.
Oh, and also welcome to Femmes Reading Filth.
Oh yeah, we are doing a podcast right now. If you didn't know that, I'm so sorry.
Jess,
Well,
do
what
you
if
need a second?
What if they clicked on they saw the episode like theme and they're like, let's start there.
They quite simply couldn't have done
Are
that
fools.
without
They're
seeing the
absolute
name
fools.
of our podcast. But also,
Fine.
welcome to Femmes Reading Film. I've had a long day,
And we're
I
drinking
don't
wine.
I don't mean to berate you, listener, but when I say that, if by now you haven't listened to all of our episodes and had a pretty good idea of who we are and what we're doing here,
You can just fuck off.
Well, not quite that,
so
but
sorry.
I
I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna come at it more. I'm concerned about you, listener, and the state of your brain
Your
and
mental
of
health.
your sobriety, or whatever might be getting in the way of that.
Here's my like devil's advocate. They saw number 1, knife play. I don't know. That sounds scary. Number 2, Mercedes. That's not a word. Number 3, royal. The queen just died. Number 4,
sad.
what's a reverse harem? Number 5, fake dating. I understand
know
those
this.
words.
Sandra Bullock is in
I
one
understand
of those.
those words. Here we go.
We're talking about fake dating.
We're talking about fake dating.
Yay!
and
I'm so excited.
So Sean,
Yes.
tell us about fake dating.
Oh my gosh. So it's a trope in many a rom-com, and I've read a few. Actually, I can speak specifically to a One Direction fan fiction I read. It was called Hired for Styles.
Wow.
And it was that Harry Styles in this universe, he was a pop star.
Right.
His publicist was like, "We need to fix your image. Like you're seen as a playboy." Like,
So this happened after the Don't Worry, Darling.
Yes, it
press
did.
tour.
we need to fix your image. Everyone thinks you're a terrible actor, and they're right. I haven't seen it. I've just heard.
Yeah.
And
we have been following that drama, by the way.
There
listeners.
was. Oh, we can talk about that for hours. But I don't even know how this girl got hired. But basically, like, she gets hired to play his fake girlfriend for the media.
She got hired because she was written that way.
Exactly. Because she was the
She was
main
perfect.
character.
Right.
I think she worked at, like, a coffee shop.
Was it
just,
like a reader self-insert?
No. She had a
Okay.
name. I can't remember her name. This was years ago.
She was an
but-
OC.
Let's call her Stacy.
Let's call her Stacy. But yeah,
Yeah.
the basics of any fake dating is typically like they are dating for a purpose, whether to like to impress a family member, get a job, etc.
Right.
And eventually they fall in love because of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what happened in Hired for Styles. And oh my god, she went to all the concerts. It was so great.
What's your favorite part of the fake dating trope?
Oh gosh. That is a good question. I also would love to hear what you guys love about it because
I have notes.
I have notes.
I think it
I literally have a
often-
whole notebook in
because
front
I
of
was
me.
gonna say I think it often is an enemies to lovers.
Yes.
Or like people who like just have nothing in common and they're only there because they have to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get won over, I think it's that very sweet thing of like, oh, but I think you're gonna come to like each other a little bit. So I think it's that it often is enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Emily's to love.
The Emily's to lobers.
Yeah, I think that's definitely my thing. I love an enemies to lovers, and I love a shenanigan.
Yes,
I
there's
feel
always
like-
I love a
shenanigans.
shenanigan.
I feel like fake dating, there's always a lot of room for
Yes.
all of our friends know that this is real, but we're pretending it's not
Yes.
because we're too stubborn.
And they're all
Yes.
taking bets on it
They're
somehow.
all taking
or-
bets.
Yeah.
Because I actually, because Emily and I were talking about it a little bit off mic, and I was trying to remember my first encounter with fake dating, and I think it was Pretty Woman.
Oh, okay.
Did
wrote that down.
you write that down?
I wrote that down.
Yeah, and one of my favorite parts of Pretty Woman was her friend.
Yeah, the no nonsense sassy
the
friend.
who
I
was
would
like,
play.
"What's going on now?" And I love that, and that
Yeah.
has carried on through my reading of fake dating as well. Is
Yeah.
just having that side character being like, "And what happened?
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on?" I think it's a perfect setup for comedy and for a good time, and that's
I
I
remember
agree with you on that.
I
my
also-
first was Can't Buy Me Love. That was my
Oh,
first
yeah.
one. Adorable.
I also love a good shenanigan.
Yeah.
Shenanigan.
I don't usually go for a slow burn, but I think a lot of fake dating ends up being a slow burn.
Oh, for sure.
I love
and
a slow
those
burn.
and like when it's written well, I really enjoy it. But when you said shenanigan, my mind just instantly went to one. I cannot remember the name of it, but I did read a fake dating one, and I'll get into things that usually go hand in hand with fake dating tropes. It was for a promotion,
Okay.
and this guy brings the girl who he's fake dating to a dinner party, and as the night goes on, things start getting weirder, and they like kind of go out to the side, and they're like, the girl talks to the guy, and she goes, "I think this is a swingers party. I think your boss is having a swingers party, and you're finally invited." And they make up an excuse to leave, and then they turn and they see through the window a woman pulling out a huge pink dildo.
Oh my god. And is this a thing you read?
This is a thing I read.
Okay.
love this.
And I was like, what a fun shenanigan in a fake
I
dating joke, because
need you
it
to
brings
find
them.
this,
I will
'cause I
find
wanna
it.
read this.
It's somewhere on my
On your spreadsheet?
On my spreadsheet for this
Okay.
year. It was like within the last 2 months. It had to be.
I want to read that.
That
It
sounds really
amazing.
fun.
and I think ultimately it was a sex toy party. Maybe I can't remember that outcome, but just the fact that something crazy happens that brings them together. I really enjoy that. A fake dating trope. I love my research. I wrote it all down. Is technically identified as the couple starts out faking a relationship for one reason or another. Along the way, they fall in love for real. And I don't know if this is the same with fan fiction, but when I was looking up certain books to read for fake dating, a lot of these things also popped up with the theme. So it would be fake dating to show off to an ex. Fake dating to get a promotion or moving up in the professional world. Fake dating and the person happens to be your brother's best friend or your best friend's brother. And that goes along with it's someone close but not too close. So they know they've known you since birth, but they don't know about you. And it's usually that also goes hand in hand with a protective who did this to you kind of trope, which I love.
What would that be an example? What would be an example of that one?
Someone grabs Jessica's arm angrily. Her boss got mad at her, grabbed her arm,
and then, like,
leaves
sees the bruise.
The
Oh,
guy
yes.
who did this to you.
Yeah.
It was nothing. It
Yeah.
was just my boss. I'll kill him. And then they kiss, and then they touch tongues and bits, or a wedding date. Fake dating to a wedding.
I love a wedding
Me
date.
too.
I love a wedding date.
Yeah.
Love a wedding
Which
date.
also, we talked about this off mic as well. We wanted to list some movies to go along with fake dating because we don't just read about them, we watch them. And this is also a pop culture kind of podcast as well.
We do love the pop culture.
We love a pop culture, so there's a lot of books and things based off of movies, obviously the fan fiction, and but there's a lot of books and stories based off of TV and movies. So with fake dating, I just wrote down, you can add to this, or if you want to say anything, Jessica.
My main one is Pretty Woman. That's
Pretty Woman.
One of the only ones I found that I've seen.
The Proposal with Sandra
Yeah.
Bullock and Ryan
See, Sandra Bullock is in one of those.
I've never seen The Proposal.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, it's actually pretty good.
it's very
It's
fun.
pretty good.
It's fun.
Holidate, the newest or one of the newest ones on Netflix with Emma Roberts.
Can I
Okay.
say it's garbage? I'll say it. It's garbage.
It's not good, but it's like the premier fake dating.
It is absolutely an example of fake dating.
Yeah.
It's just garbage.
Or not premiere.
You know, yeah.
Latest
it's
one in my head.
It's a perfect example.
To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Oh yeah,
Which
yeah.
is
Which
also
is-
based off a book
Yes.
I was gonna say very similar. Can't Buy Me Love.
by, I don't know her name actually, who wrote.
To All the Boys We Loved Before?
Yeah.
Hold on, I will look it up because we need to give credit where credit is
Yes.
due.
Such an incredible.
And
movie.
obviously, if you do want to know any of these, we'll put some of
Jenny
these on.
Han.
Jenny Han wrote To All the Boys I Loved Before. We'll put that on
Incredible
our spreadsheet link for random books and things that we talk about. The Wedding Date,
Yes.
starring Deborah Messing and Dermot Mulroney, which is one of my favorites.
I've never seen that
Oh,
either.
I've never
you
seen
would
that one
love
either.
that
I've never
one.
seen that either. I've mainly read fake dating as like a fan fiction thing.
See, it's mainly movies for me.
That one's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, it's mainly movies for me too. And then Easy A is a fake dating
Yes.
one.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
it's easy. It's what's I was
She
thinking about
starts.
it.
She starts fake dating.
It's true,
Yeah.
but she does. It's mainly fake sexing.
Fake dating
some
isn't.
people-
It still counts. It
Yeah.
still counts. But I was
it's
thinking
not,
about that.
because I came across that one too while I was doing research, and I wouldn't consider it a traditional fake dating trope
Neither.
just because she's doing it, but that's not the main.
Intent.
Yeah.
That's not like the main part of the story. Like that's not the main situation.
Yeah.
The situation is all the other shit, and she's also doing like, a fake sexing,
Yeah.
a fake
Yeah.
dating thing.
Un-
But if you
Another
want a
one.
hint of fake dating,
True.
Easy A is your
Easy A.
go-to.
Yeah.
Another one, Drive Me Crazy.
Uh-huh.
Melissa Joan Hart
Yes.
and what's his face from Entourage.
Which is Can't Buy Me Love.
Kinda, yeah. They're all kind of similar.
They're all the
in-
same.
All the high school
popular
ones
girl
are
makes
like
over
that.
the geeky guy.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yada yada yada.
That's something that in fan fiction I was looking at common things that come up with it, and like the high school as a trope, like
Yeah.
high school dynamics, that sort of thing.
I love a high school romance.
I know
Me
you
too.
do.
I love a bully high school romance, and it's weird, and I love it.
And for me, it's really like it's the pining, which I think is also why it lends itself to a high school romance. 'Cause
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very, their eyes met across the hall from their lockers or whatever, but they won't admit it to each other.
I also think a lot of fake dating goes hand in hand with forced proximity.
Yes.
So they're put into it like if they're a wedding date and it's a thing for a weekend.
you have to stay in a hotel
You have to stay in a
together.
hotel.
Only
There's
one bed.
Only one
Exactly.
bed. Gotta love that
Exactly.
only one bed.
Sean, did you write that down?
Only one
Write
bed.
these
Only
down.
one bed,
These
Sean.
down.
Only one bed. Writing it down.
But yeah, Emily, do you want to talk about your story first?
Sure. I reread a book that I have read before. I went on my personal spreadsheet of Kindle Unlimiteds. I don't have too many fake datings. A lot of them were like, if it was within the fake realm, it ended up being like a fake marriage or forced marriage type of thing until like marriage of
Convenience.
convenience. Thank you. And then they ended up being mafia romances. So I was trying to stay away from that. And I ended up picking Mr. Silver, which is the 5th book in the Kings of Cypress Point series.
Ooh.
The first 3 are a type of... The first 3 take place in high school with a certain couple. And it's a rich boy and girl from the wrong side of the tracks type of romance. Then the 4th and 5th book and 6th, there are now currently 6 books out, are about other people in the group of friends. As usual with Kindle Unlimiteds, they kind of just break off. They are by Rachel Jonas. This one came out in December 26, 2021. It is 398 pages. And what's nice about the series is that every book kind of has a different trope. So one of them is unplanned pregnancy. One of them is, or accidental pregnancy, I should say.
Okay.
I think that's what it's usually tagged as.
Yeah.
Fake dating, friends to lovers is one. So this book is about Sterling Golden.
Oh my god.
Every time I say the
No.
names, you guys.
No.
But you hear it. Like I hear it. When I say it out loud, I hear it. He is-
All I have in my head is Roger Sterling from Mad Men
Yes.
with gold hair.
Yeah.
Roger Sterling's a silver fox, right?
Yeah.
He is. But no. This is Sterling
is-
Golden.
or Golden.
So he has to have gold hair.
Golden
Correct.
hair.
Well, it's John Flattery is the actor for that one, right? Who I'm trying
John
to figure.
Flattery.
Did I say Flattery?
Yeah, you did.
Flattery.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm flattering.
I mean,
him
he's great.
Right now, he's hot.
great. He's hot.
Yeah, but with he's golden.
oh my god.
He is one of 3 triplets in Cypress Point.
What are the brothers' names?
Dane and West.
Okay, so normal. Okay, great.
Normal.
West isn't like totally normal, but compared.
West
Yeah.
Golden and Dane Golden.
Dane.
Dane Golden.
Okay, Oswald Kennedy.
Yeah, Oswald. Yeah, shut it, Oswald. Esme is just looking at me.
Oswald Kennedy Camp is gonna have an amazing life.
Well, yes.
She's gonna be involved in some
Now it's
shit.
definitely a she. It's definitely
It's a she. I'm doubling down. You were lying.
Exactly.
Anyway, Emily, you read a book.
Cool. I read Mr. Silver by Rachel Jonas. book 5 of the series. The things you need to know about this is that you can read the 4, 5, and 6 as a standalone. They do a pretty good job of filling in the characters that you should know.
For sure.
There is one thing you do need to know about this, and that there is a character named Pandora, and it's kind of like Gossip Girl. So Cypress Point has its own...
Pandora, no last name?
No, it's an online presence known as Pandora.
Like XOXO Gossip Girl. Got it. Okay.
Cypress Point has an app. It's called the Pandora app, or I guess it's not Pandora. It's something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just a full-on town gossip thing. It's not a tiny town. It's kind of like a college town.
Okay.
I don't remember where it actually is, but they have people going to Louisiana sometimes, and they have people going to Puerto Rico sometimes. So I'm assuming it's somewhere within the southeast. I imagine it's somewhere on the coast. I don't know.
The distant look in your eye as you tried to place that on the map was really beautiful.
I didn't want to say because I got to cut out a lot of ums. So that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
The other thing you need to know is that in the first 3 books, the triplets' dad, whatever his fucking name is,
Mr. Golden.
Mr. Golden.
Mr. Golden, yeah.
Has-
Eli, if you will.
Let's go. Shout out to Eli Golden. Moved to Milwaukee. Was a great drummer. Probably still is a great drummer.
We're losing our minds.
He was arrested because he had ties with the mafia. I swear this is not a mafia book. But he was like a really bad rich guy, and he kind of had the town in a vice grip.
Oh, okay.
So, and at this point in the story, they do a good job of giving you a backstory, but his dad is on trial. And a big point of contention is that they want to make sure that their dad gets put away. Everyone hates the dad. Dad is bad. Dad is bad.
Dad is bad.
That is bad.
The main characters are Sterling Golden and Lexi Rodriguez.
Fine.
That's a great name, actually.
That's better.
She is her thing is that it starts out she is fired from her 3rd job that month, and she is issued an ultimatum by her stepdad, who she does like. She gets on. She has a good family dynamic. That if she does not have something steady going on, she has to move out. And he gives her the 6-month timeline.
Okay.
So he's like, you need to do something steady for 6 months. And if you can't prove that to me, like, you need to find somewhere else to live.
Okay.
So this happened. She ended up getting fired from this job because the manager, it was a bowling alley job. It was like just a shitty job. They're like 19, by the way.
I figured.
They're kind of young. The manager, who is her age, ends up trying to like hit on her, and she breaks his fingers.
Hell yeah.
Which is pretty badass. She's kind of a badass.
We love that.
She's known as, and all the people that Pandora talks about have nicknames on the app, so she never says their full name. So Mr. Silver is Sterling, and her name is Fallen Angel.
But his last name is Golden.
But Sterling Silver.
I know. That's why it makes me
West and Dane, all these people have names,
I know.
so they all kind of go together.
I was already mad about the fact that his name was basically Silver Gold, and so the fact that Pandora literally is Silver.
It's the not so subtle
Yes.
nickname.
Yes.
So this ultimatum happens. She storms out. She goes and she lives with them at the time, her stepdad. She goes into the backyard. She has a tree house there. So she starts smoking pot and she's hanging out in the tree house. And she hears a commotion. She looks out. In the house next to her is where the dean of the college lives.
Oh.
Her stepdad Benny is the bursar. So he's the boss of the
bursar?
dean. Bursar. Yes.
Is that how I don't actually even
Bursar.
know what it is.
Bursar?
Yeah.
So he's like the boss, then the dean is right under him.
Gotcha.
The dean is a woman. She sees a guy climbing out of the dean's window. She's like, what? Turns out to be Mr. Silver himself, Sterling Golden.
Oh my God.
And he is in his skivvies, running around, and he's trying to hop the fence. And they have a history. We've learned that back in freshman year of high school, they were friends. They both had a crush on each other, and then he like rejected her so hardcore, very embarrassingly.
Okay.
And ever since she's been like, "Fuck you," and he's been like, "Fuck you."
Cool.
He's trying to get over the fence. She's like, "Nuh-uh." Also, like, you're fucked. You just dropped your wallet over there. So he's running back. The dean comes out, and she's like, "Oh my God, come back!" And then she sees that Lexi is watching from the treehouse. And the dean goes, "Oh, fuck. I'm calling the cops. You broke into my house."
Oh my God.
Lexi's just sitting there being like, "Yeah, good. Fuck him. He's the worst."
Yeah.
Sterling gets arrested.
Oh my God.
And the next morning, he tells the lie that is, he was with Lexi,
Oh, okay.
thus starting the fake dating. So Lexi and her stepdad get called down to the police office. Police office? Police.
police station.
Police station. I was thinking Dean's office. Police station.
The police office. It's
To
fine.
be his alibi.
sense. Yeah.
And in that moment, Lexi kind of figures, oh, this could be a steady thing. Like, if he thinks I have a boyfriend,
Oh.
then I might be able to prove to my stepdad that, like, I'm not a loser, that I
Also,
can do
what
something.
a clever workaround. She doesn't have to get a job.
Clever. She's not lazy. She still wants to get a job.
But it's just like, but this
also,
is easy.
Girls
but
with boyfriends don't need jobs.
Don't need
girls
jobs.
with good looks don't have to work.
Exactly.
And he needs an alibi. So she says yes, and she gets him off, not sexually yet. And that starts the fake dating. She's like, I won't tell the police that, that this was all bullshit if you are my boyfriend for 6 months. He's like, that sounds crazy, but okay. So
That sounds wacky. I'm in.
it starts, and they're all part of the same friend group. Like, she is good friends with this girl named Blue, who is
What's
dating.
Blue's last name?
I don't remember.
Is it Indigo?
Gray?
Blue Gray?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Or just like
Clues? Is it Clues?
It's Blue's Mrs. Clues.
it's Blue's.
Blue's Clues. And she is dating West, one of the
that
triplets.
got me.
And Lexi's good friend is Blue. Sterling
Right.
is
Miss
West's brother.
Clues.
So they run on the same group, and everyone kind of learns of this scheme, and they're all like, "This is a great idea."
Supportive friends.
Way to be
It's
supportive,
It's the
guys.
supportive friends of like.
It's the shenanigans.
I think
We've been waiting for this to happen.
Yes, they're like,
Yeah.
there's always been a tension between them. I don't know.
Love that.
So it starts out with a family dinner at Lexi's. Benny is like, I
into
expect
it.
him at dinner on Sunday, and he meets her crazy family. Pardon me, which leads to Lexi and her stepbrother talking about this animal clinic. And Lexi's like, wait, I've always been really good with animals. Can I get a job there?
Oh.
And so her stepbrother sets her up with that, and she meets the sexy veterinarian Logan, who is 24. He skipped a few grades.
Oh my goodness.
And Pandora, of course, again, is following them very closely. So she snaps a picture of her and Lexi and Logan.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Silver sees, and he gets weirdly jealous. And he's like, "What? Why am I jealous?" So he's like, "We got to up the ante. We got to come out more as a couple. Come to my football game on Friday night because they're on the football team at the college, and we're gonna kiss." You're gonna give me like a congratulatory kiss, and that's gonna be our like big thing because people are obviously gonna take our picture, and Pandora's obviously gonna pick it up.
Obviously.
So they have a big kiss, and it gets a little steamy. And from there, the friends are like, "Well, you need to do more. We're gonna set up a date for you guys, like a get to know you date.
Okay.
So this can like perpetrate the rumor that we can keep going.
Perpetuate, not perpetrate.
God damn it! Fuck it, I don't give a shit. You know what? It's been a day, and I'm drinking wine.
It has been a day. I just wanted to
Listener,
make sure.
I don't speak right.
Says the author. It's fine.
She writes
That's
right.
true. She writes right.
I'm
talk
trying to
right.
speak kind of fast.
That's fair.
Wine.
So
Right.
why not? They have a get to know you date in the treehouse. They've set up really cute. The friends put like
adorable.
lights everywhere. They have money for pizza to order. They have these sleeping bags,
love that.
and they have a bunch of. It's like actually a super cute scene. I really love it.
Yeah.
They have a box of like questions of like question number 1, what's your like greatest fear? And they're like, you have to be truthful. Like this is
love
a
that.
get to know you thing, and it's a really lovely scene. Actually,
I love that so much.
that's when they have another kiss, and they're like, well, we got to put it on Instagram, and he's like, I'll kiss your cheek, and she's like, yeah, I'll kiss your cheek, and then they accidentally
they
kiss
kiss
lips,
each
and
other.
it's great. They have another date on the books, which is Lexi's cousin's birthday. They have to go
Ooh.
together because here's another trope. Lexi's ex-boyfriend
Ex-boyfriend. Okay.
is dating Lexi's cousin,
Oh, okay. Okay.
who is the sister of the cousin who is having a birthday party.
I gotcha.
So she's got to prove to her ex that she's over him.
Obviously.
So they go, and they have a sexy dance at the club for underage kids, apparently. And this leads to.
I went to a few of those. Did you ever go to any of those absolutely
I never went to
horrible
Club Soda Pop. Did you ever? Do you remember
I
that?
do, but I never went.
I never went. My mom would not have let me go to
places?
Soda Pop.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Just bad.
I wasn't.
Atrocious.
I went though. I had a
No.
great time, but then we like drove past it when I was like 3 years later when I was
you were
old
like,
enough
"This
to
looks
know
disgusting."
better. And I went, oh no. Oh no, it was not good.
I went
the
to a club
low-rise
in-
jeans I wore.
I went to a club in Spain.
That sounds fun.
I went there, but I'm assuming that was kind of like the same vibe.
You
But also,
Classy
weren't you
bitch.
able to drink at that in Spain? Weren't you in college?
No, I was in
high school.
This was a study
Oh.
abroad.
That's
I
the
just
thing. The high
assume
school
it's better.
clubs, you're sober.
Yeah.
And you're in low-rise jeans grinding on a very gross boy.
Oh no.
bad.
It was one of those things where at the time I really felt I was missing out on something because I, didn't have confidence or boys that liked me. But now I'm cool.
I kind of felt like that too.
You did a good job.
Thank
I
you.
kind of
You
felt
were
like
fine.
that too.
In hindsight, everything worked out.
In hindsight. I also forgot to say that there are, in the number of sexy scenes, this is more of a slow burn, but there are 5 total. Number 1, neck kiss at the game.
Yeah.
That's they neck at the game.
Oh,
Isn't it?
neck. I thought you said
He
net
kisses
kiss.
her neck and he like licks her neck at the game. That's like their big first kiss.
That's a big one.
Number 2, sexy dance at the club.
Yeah.
Number 3, truck sex. So after the sexy dance at the club, they go out to his truck and they totally bang.
Hell
Great.
yeah.
And like it's a lot. They bang a lot.
Good for them.
It's like big. The truck is a knockin'.
I love it.
Number 4 is
in
called.
sorry, important question. In the cab of the truck
Or
or,
like
in the
the
bed
bed.
of the truck?
Okay, they say at one point they call it a truck,
Right.
and then she goes, "We're in the back seat."
Okay.
Of the truck. Okay, so it's like a
So
big,
I don't think
big
it's a
truck.
Yeah, I don't think it's a pickup. I
Got
think
it.
it's
Okay.
like a big, like an SUV type of thing
Yeah,
that
yeah,
she
yeah.
calls a truck.
Got it.
This leads to them being like, well, we kind of like each other. Like, let's see where this goes.
Mm-hmm.
Pandora ends up posting another picture, this time of Sterling with a girl.
Oh,
Lexi gets all angry and fired up, and she runs into the cafeteria, and she sees that it is a study date. And he goes,
Okay.
all right, to make it up to me, you're going to go back to my dorm. Here's my key. I want you to be naked under my covers, and I'm going to be there in 10 minutes.
Oh.
And she's like, excuse me? And he's like, don't fucking say a word. Go do it. And I was like,
damn.
so I
for
call
them.
number 4 doing it dorm style.
Good for them.
Or
Good
they
for
do
them.
it dorm style. At this point, there's another football game. There is a call, and they're like, he's like, okay, this is it. I'm going to tell Alexi I love her. The dean.
Wow.
From the beginning of the book.
The one he was banging.
That one, well, we never know there was banging.
Oh, okay.
The girl whose window he was climbing out of.
Right.
in his skivvies.
In his skivvies.
Skivvies.
Well,
Okay,
it
okay.
turns out that she has been hitting on him since he was 15. Oh! They have never done anything. He thinks it's disgusting, but
why
she
was
is
he there?
She is blackmailing him.
Oh my god.
And I won't tell you how,
Okay,
but it
yeah.
has to do with the stepdad somehow.
Wow.
So she calls him and is like, "Hey, I follow you on Pandora. I see that you're getting close to Lexi. I think you should like end this, or something could happen to Lexi."
Oh my god.
Which you're like, "What the fuck? This just went from 0 to 10."
I love this.
He ends up breaking up with her. And she goes a little, not crazy, but she like gets really sad. She's never trusted anyone. Da, da, da. Meanwhile, and I didn't really touch on this, but she has bio dad issues. She loves her stepdad,
Yeah.
but she's like,
Yeah,
why
yeah,
does
yeah.
my bio dad not want me? Finds the address to her bio dad's house. It's 3 hours away. Drives to the house. Ends up lighting his car on fire. X, Y, and Z.
What?
Again, I'm not going to tell you these details because
No,
I actually think this series is really fun.
I'm loving this.
It's a
so
really
much.
good series. Lights the car on fire, gets drunk in a car. Sterling has to come pick her up.
Wow.
And they end up having shower sex. I call that one number 5, shower sex and tears.
Are they crying at the time during the sex?
I think she's crying before the sex and after the sex, but
Got
not
it,
during.
got it.
But she
Got
takes a quick
It's
break.
one of those.
the
It's one of
sex.
those. I don't want to feel anything. I just want to feel you.
Right. Yep.
You gotta
Hot.
love those sex
Very
scenes.
hot.
Very hot.
So then Lexi comes shower sex, and then I just wrote the truth comes out. So things from there on, let's say Sterling confronts his demons, Lexi figures some things out, and there's a few more scenes that I don't want to spoil for you because again,
For
we're
sure.
trying not to spoil these stories, which is really hard for me
It
to
is
do.
hard for me too. Yeah.
It's really hard. I know
You're doing great so
we
far.
kind of did the first few episodes where we told it, but those are also part of series, so it kind of was a cliffhanger. Again, this can be read as a standalone. It's
I
really
feel like
fun.
it's not a be all end all rule to not spoil it, but if we can
If we can
leave some-
avoid it, we will.
If we can leave
But
some breadcrumbs.
I loved that.
Yeah, and I think the fun part about the fake dating is how they fall into it because
Yeah.
it's like, well, I need something steady, and this guy he's a golden boy. That's the first 3 books of the series are called the Golden Boys.
Oh my god, fine.
and her stepdad knows who he is because he's a big football player.
For sure.
And he's like, well, I just need an alibi from the police.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's not the most like conventional. It's
Yeah.
not something I really said in my beginning of like wedding date showing off to an ex. There are those tropes in there, but how it comes to be is a little different.
I love those. I want to read that. I really liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 3 are really fun. Those are a trilogy. Like you have to read them all together. There's a bit more of that's more of an enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
and you get a little angry with them. But if you want to start, like, you can start with 4, 5, and 6 and go back to 1, 2, and 3 if you want.
I think I would, because I liked that.
Yeah.
I also always enjoy in the fake dating when there's like that history between them.
Yes.
Because like if I recall in the proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, they were just coworkers. Like she was his boss.
She was his boss.
Yeah, which is like fine. But I always love where it's like we were friends. I don't know what happened, or like we had a falling out, and it's like now we're forced.
Like
to be
we've
friends
always
again.
been staring at each other, but now there's a reason for us to stare at each other.
I
more.
love that.
And I love it so much. I'm part of the Rachel Jonas, like Kings of Cypress Point Facebook group.
Oh my god!
I follow the updates because I think she's actually a fantastic author.
I mean, the twists it took even in the summary, it sounds really good.
Yeah, we'll be Rachel Jonas. If you hear me, please DM me and tell me hi because I'm a big
please
old
don't
fan.
take us talking about the names personally. That's just some shit we do because we think it's funny.
There's never going to be a name that
We think we're funny. Okay.
All names. That's why people agonize over naming kids because all names sound bad.
Classic Oswald.
The first time you say them, and then you get used to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I always, when I was younger, I wanted to name my daughter either Holly or Zelda.
I think both are great names.
Those are great names.
Or
yeah.
Greta was in there for a while too.
I
Robin
like
Williams
that.
named his kid Zelda.
I was big on like the 30s starlet names.
I think those are great, and also they're unique. Like they're not as
They're
much
not
in
super
rotation
weird, but
anymore.
they're not
Yeah.
Brittany.
Oswin. It's unique. So that was great.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So you already said your thoughts.
Yeah,
right? You have
those
any
are my
other
thoughts.
thoughts on that? You don't have to. It's
gosh.
okay.
No, I don't think so. I mean, the story itself just had way more twists and turns than I was expecting, and I'm excited to read those moments of like, should we hold hands? Like, let's hold hands, I guess. Yes. Like,
Yeah.
I think that'll be fun.
The shenanigans.
Let's get to the fanfic
The
of it all.
fanfic of it all. The official tag is called fake/pretend relationship. There's a lot of them. There's 38,602 fics under this tag. So it's pretty popular.
I was like, I kind of expected more considering the numbers from some of the other ones.
Well, and I think it's also the thing of because tags on AO3 are completely, you can use them or not use them. There are probably more that just aren't tagged.
That's true.
But that's still pretty big. And it's usually paired with mutual pining.
Oh.
Friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, slow burn, angst, and alternate universe or AU.
Anything tagged with angst, I'm in.
Anything with angst. And
I'm
I do
in.
think that is one of, alongside pining, which I think they go hand in hand, is what I look for in a
love
fake
pining.
dating.
Yeah.
And that's why I picked the story that I
Oh,
picked.
I'm
Because it is
excited.
heavy on the pining. But I will say, like, fanfic and fake dating often is a way to get some lighthearted, funny stuff.
Agreed.
Like, I feel like some of the funniest ones are the fake dating ones because it allows you, like I said earlier, it allows you to kind of explore those side characters and get into shenanigans, and it
Yes.
doesn't have to be so serious. So I don't actually read it a ton because it's not usually part of the darker
For sure.
shit that I tend to read a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I usually have darker fandoms to begin with. And so the let's go have a romp and fake date doesn't usually like enter into.
You have to come to a wedding with me.
Exactly.
Show my mom I care.
Well, one of the fics that I did consider that I didn't end up going with was a Succession fanfic. And
Oh.
it's actually one of my absolute favorites. In order to talk about it, you have to really know Succession.
For sure. Which I do know.
I know
but
you do,
yeah.
but I wanted
don't
to.
watch it.
That's
You
fair.
don't watch it. I wanted to be mindful of the listener, but I will send it to you, Sean. 'cause
Please
it's great.
do.
It's called Evacuation Strategies for a Yacht on Fire.
What's the pairing?
It's Jerry and Roman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's the episode where they're all on the yacht.
Yes.
And it takes that and runs from there.
I love that.
As a fake marriage thing.
Wow. Okay.
It's really great. I'll send it to you.
Please
and
do.
we'll also put it on our shared doc for the podcast
Correct.
because it's one of my absolute favorites. I've reread it a billion times. So, I love a scheme. I love a romantic heist.
Fucking love a heist.
A romantic heist. And so, Sean,
Yes.
when you think of these things, I like asking you for your best guess.
No, I
on
love
things.
these.
When you think of network TV, shenanigans, pining, will they, won't they,
Yeah.
friends to lovers,
Yeah.
is there a show that comes to mind for you?
Several. It could be Parks and Rec. It could be New Girl. It could be
Did you say sitcom or?
just network TV.
Network TV.
So that's why I'm thinking of like stuff. Superstore. Can I get like a time, like a time frame?
It is indeed Superstore.
Yes.
When because we didn't tell each other beforehand, but I happened to look at the doc,
Yeah.
and I saw that, but I forgot it. And then when she said it, I went, I don't know if you saw my face. I went,
I love Superstore.
I know you do.
I
know
love
you do.
Superstore.
I know. So
If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching Superstore. It's a lovely comfort show.
It is.
It's funny as shit.
And needless to say, spoilers for Superstore coming up. So, Sean.
Yes.
Tell me about Superstore. Specifically, we need to know about the characters Amy
And Jonas.
Jonah.
Oh, yeah.
And just the general vibe of the gang.
Absolutely. Jonah is the newest team member, at least at the beginning of the show. He thinks he's better than everyone. He went to college, whatever. And Amy has been there since she was like 16. So I think like 15 years, I think.
And the main premise of the show, if someone's going completely
Oh,
blind,
yeah.
is
they work at a superstore.
They work at a superstore.
Like
It's a
a
Walmart.
Costco,
It's a
yeah.
Walmart or Costco equivalent.
Yeah.
Continue, Sean.
And immediately like flirty, bantery, but like they can't stand each other. Like, ugh. But then they kind of quickly become friends, but also like butt heads. But instant chemistry. And everyone else, it's kind of funny because I feel like everyone else is just annoyed by their chemistry. Everyone else is kind of just like, yeah, we get it.
Because he's so pedantic.
Yes.
And she kind of can be like a know-it-all.
And she's kind of the boss.
She's
Absolutely,
kind of,
she
yeah.
is, yeah.
But she ends up being the boss.
She ends up being but she's also the competent one.
Yes.
And she's been there the longest and she knows her shit. And like,
She's the one that the
thinks he does.
audience identifies with the most.
Yeah, and he
'Cause she's
thinks
not
he
crazy.
knows his shit. But yeah, they instant chemistry between the two of them. But it's a slow burn, and it's so good.
Yep. And I would say it's the classic sitcom formula where every episode there is a shenanigan of some kind that would, in real life, result in everyone being fired.
Yeah, or
But-
killed
or
in the case
killed.
of the tornado episode.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, that's not a shenanigan. That's just that's an
But it
environmental.
was it
natural.
played for a shenanigan? Yes,
It was absolutely
Correct.
yes. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, Sean, because the tornado episode does factor in.
I am killing it. All right.
And so, that was a perfect summary. I don't have much more to add. Some stats on the fandom. It's a relatively small fandom on AO3. There are 529 works in the Superstore fandom. 419 of them are the Amy/Jonah pairing.
Of course they are.
And there are actually 3 fake dating fics, and this is one of them.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
So, it is called Do I Look Lonely by RainbowCat.
Oh.
Amy Jonah. It was published October 5th it was finished, October 5th of 2018.
Oh, so it's old. Okay.
It's older. The tags that I found fun were humor, fluff, slow burn, friends to lovers, fake marriage, and then mission save Jonah from blatant character assassination 2018.
Oh my.
And
Okay.
AU was not tagged, but I would call it an AU because essentially it diverges from the episode events of season 3, episode 15, Amnesty, which is the episode after the tornado episode.
Yes.
Where they have found the video of Amy and Jonah
Jonas kissing. Yeah. I keep wanting to say Jonas. Jonah.
Wait, it's not kissing. It's where they're.
They kiss
They
during
kiss-
the tornado.
No, yeah.
Oh.
It's the
I'm
epi-
thinking of the
one when they-
in like a,
Yeah.
a
No
season
No spoilers.
later.
No spoilers.
No. Basically, the fic picks up immediately after this episode
Okay.
with like the beginning of Amnesty, where basically the entirety of the Superstore crew is watching this video and kind of fangirling over it.
Yeah, and there's that. I just remembered there was that part where they put it in like a loop where they're kissing.
Yes.
And it's like.
And Sandra keeps making videos of this and sharing it with everyone.
I love Sandra.
And the other important thing about this is that at the time, Jonah is dating Kelly.
Yes.
Oh, poor Kelly.
Or Kelly.
And so in the actual episode, Kelly sees the video and they get in a big fight and Jonah goes, "Oh, Kelly, like Amy is a friend, but that we were just caught up in the moment, but I love you. I would always choose you." And they decided to move in together at the end of the episode.
They do.
So this is what we would term a fix-it fic.
Okay.
Because it's the author going, "That made no fucking sense, and I disagree." So in this, that happens, but Jonah and Kelly break up. The entire crew, the entire Superstore crew, is still being super weird anytime they see Amy and Jonah together because they're still very much recovering from the video.
Yes.
Kelly is still working there, but her and Jonah have broken up.
Yeah.
And so the fic really starts with just Amy being a good friend to Jonah and being like, "I know you guys just broke up. You know, I'll switch your shifts. You don't have to work together."
Aw.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Cute.
And it basically talks about how it's all from Amy's perspective.
Okay.
And it's her kind of just like noodling on how annoyed she is at how everyone is doing this. But there's also little hints and stuff of like, you know, Jonah's cute and stuff. And the kiss was nice, but we're friends. And, you know, everyone just keeps talking about it and it's really annoying.
Yeah.
And so months go by, and they're all in the break room, and Amy and Jonah are sitting next to each other as they do, and Amy's looking at Jonah's phone, and they're just like kind of flirt chatting as
they always
is
do.
common in the show. And Garrett says, "You guys are officially over then, right? Like you're not dating anymore?" And Amy goes, we never were. B, I would never date Jonah anyway. He's had like 6 girlfriends since I've known him. So clearly he has some commitment issues.
Ooh, burn.
And all the employees are like, huh? And are suddenly tuned in.
Yeah.
And Jonah goes, I can commit. And she goes, where's the proof? And this listener is the banter is very common to the Superstore. This dynamic. Jonah says, I doubt you would last. Just divorced? I mean, the stamina is probably all run out.
This is so good.
And the whole crew goes, and Glenn yells, stop fighting! You love each other too much for this.
I can hear his voice.
Stop fighting.
Stop fighting! You love each other too much for this. And the direct quote is, Amy is seized by a heady recklessness, one she hasn't felt since crashing Adam's date on Christmas Eve. I'll bet you couldn't date me for a month, she says.
It's a bet. It's a bet.
Jonah jumps up. There's a feverish gleam in his eyes she usually associates with discussions of homemade tahini, Syrian refugees, or Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'll give you excellent odds on that, he says.
So true.
Everyone loses their minds. So
much as I am. I'm so excited.
Yes. So essentially, they decide that Dina is the arbitrator.
Of course she is.
I fucking love Dina
so
much.
she decides she's the one that's going to keep the bet fair.
I figured she volunteered. That she's like, you're going to need a referee.
Yep. And so they land on, with the help of the rest of the crew,
Oh my God.
a marriage bet.
Yes.
Marriage.
A marriage bet. And so 30 days, they have to stay together for 30 days. If Jonah loses, he can't date for the rest of the year and must concede every argument to Amy. If Amy loses, she cannot make fun of Jonah for the rest of the year, has to use the word sexy in conversation at least 5 times, and she cannot assign Jonah to the gun counter or to clean the men's toilets for the next 6 months.
This is like impossible for both of these
I
characters.
know.
Yes.
But this is so well written
This
already.
is very well written.
Oh my God.
Yes. And so basically the next chapter is the Cloud9 employees putting together a wedding at the store. And they like find rings and they find a dress for Amy and she refuses to put it on. And so she just wears her usual thing. She takes off her Cloud9 vest and that's all she does.
Yeah.
But Jonah finds a suit.
Oh.
And she's struck by how handsome he looks in his suit. And they basically put together this wedding, and Glenn is their officiant, and they do vows and they exchange rings,
God.
and everyone takes pictures. Sandra takes pictures, and it's very very
Classic
cute.
Classic Sandra.
And
Her thumb is probably in all of them.
yeah.
100%.
And so it's a lovely time. Amy the entire time is doing the thing where she goes, well, this is just for the bet, but I really like Jonah. He looks really handsome, but this is just for the bet. It's not a big deal. And he's looking in my eyes and it looks like he's getting teary, but it's just for the bet. And so they finish. Everyone's having like a little party in the break room. And then Garrett says, well, now that because him and Jonah were living together. And he says, well, now that you're newlyweds, your vows said that you would live together in matrimony. So you got to move in together for the next month. And Dina says, yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah.
And so that is how we get Jonah moving in with Amy into her spare room.
Like, and her kids.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Well, and so that's part of it too, is Amy hoping that Emma, her daughter, will go, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So she'll have an excuse to not have this happen.
Out of this.
Emma goes, oh yeah, Jonah's fine. And so Jonah ends up moving in with them.
Oh my God.
And Amy feels weird about it, and that night she's battling being attracted to Jonah and desperately trying to keep her cool. And they have a very awkward first night where she just like microwaves some chicken and doesn't know what to do for dinner. And they end up watching a movie, and they're just like on opposite ends of the couch, just like being like, yes, we're watching this. It's weird. The author says, when they're no longer in front of the employees having to kind of perform and they can actually be their true selves, they don't really know how to act.
For sure.
The next morning, Amy is surprised that Jonah actually wakes up before her, because she's usually the early riser, and he's making her and Emma avocado toast.
Oh my God.
So hipster.
And she gets a lump in her throat because, quote, no one has ever really taken care of her before.
Oh.
And
So fuck you to your husband.
Yep.
But I
Ex-husband.
mean, we knew that.
I know. Oh, yeah, true.
we knew that. So she's very struck by, oh, wow, like Jonah's being really nice and this is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
They arrive at work. Everyone bursts into applause, congratulating them on their first full married day. But then we get our first bit of, because no one told Kelly.
Oh
no.
my God.
Kelly.
No.
No one told Kelly. So she shows
That
up to
character
work.
just gets the shit kicked out of her.
She does.
This is a quick side note. In the show, post Jonah and Kelly relationship is the best Kelly when she's just like,
yeah.
I don't want to be here. She's so funny every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get Jonah and Kelly get in an argument. Amy eavesdrops the entire time and feels very guilty about it, as she should.
Yes.
Honestly. And Kelly quits.
Yeah.
And Amy and Jonah have a very heartfelt conversation about it where Jonah goes, I deserve that. Like, that made sense. And then they go into the break room to Sandra having mixed their wedding video with the tornado video.
Oh my God,
To
Sandra.
create some, the description of the fic is some kind of fucked up movie trailer that everyone's watching over and over again.
Oh my God.
And so the fic continues, and Amy feels like, I need to talk to somebody about this. So she calls her brother to talk to him, and
I
is
love
like,
her brother.
yeah. And so he's the one that she first admits, I might have a little crush on Jonah, and I don't know what to do. She tells him about the bet, and Henry goes, well, you just need to talk to him. Like, you guys need to just talk, communicate. And after this, at home, they're watching another movie, and Amy decides to put her head on Jonah's shoulder. Oh. And the end of the chapter is Jonah goes very, very still. And they basically stay like that for a while. And then there's a commercial break and Amy goes to bed. And she doesn't look back as she tells him goodnight. She knows exactly what Jonah's expression is without needing to see his face. So much pining.
This is
so much
melting
pining.
me. It's so cute.
So, and again, I'm doing the Emily thing. I don't want to give away all of it.
Yeah.
But there's so much more where they just kind of they're living together. They continually are just dancing around each other. And Amy's realizing, Jonah's a really good roommate. And they take turns driving each other to work and making dinner and that sort of thing. And just get closer and closer and staring into each other's eyes. However, because this is called Femmes Reading Filth, I will cover when they do finally bang.
Yes. I think it should be a stipulation that every episode, like everything we read, has to have at least one sex scene.
Absolutely.
I kind of figured that was the case.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
filthy.
And filthy. And this fic has a single sex scene.
Whoa, okay.
A single sex scene.
All right.
So the last night of the last day of the bet,
Oh my God.
Amy is super sad and is feeling very conflicted because she doesn't want Jonah to go. She doesn't want their marriage to end. And so she's feeling really sad. She ends up going to Emma's room to just chat and falls asleep on her bed. And Emma goes, Jonah's really great. Like, if you like him, you guys can totally, see each other more. I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't mind more avocado toast.
Very cute. And so she basically wakes up and decides and goes to Jonah's room and wakes him up. And the dialogue goes, what are you doing? Shut up, Amy murmurs, low and fierce. I love you so much. Did you know that? Jonah's hand slides from her shoulder to the nape of her neck and tangles in her hair. I didn't know, he whispers. And in the darkness, their eyes meet. It's Amy who starts the kiss.
I am flapping my arms.
She's celebrating.
Okay, for context, like, I love Superstore, and that is one of my favorite slow burn TV couples.
It's a good one.
It's a really good one.
Yeah.
And I mean, I won't compare it to any of the others. There's so many good ones, but it's just, so to see it happen more quickly, but in like, oh my God, it's so well written. I'm overwhelmed.
I'm more of a Dina Garrett gal, but I love an Amy Jonah.
Dina and Garrett is an incredible
it's fantastic. So they do not have penis and vagina sex. Jonah is a very considerate man, and so of course he goes down on her.
Of course he does.
And that is the main event.
I'm not going to tell you.
Tell
No,
me.
you have to say
You
it now.
have to do it.
Yeah, I thought they didn't have penis and vagina sex, and I was like, well, did they have ear sex?
You've been reading too many books. You've been reading too much.
That's not in any books. I heard that's what people do that don't want to have sex.
I learned
before
that
marriage.
from, I learned that from Family Guy, I think it was.
Ear.
Yeah.
Which that couldn't fit.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Jonah is a gentleman.
Goes down
And
on her.
so he goes down on her, and
Classy.
it's wonderful, and it's very
Good.
intimate, and the whole time they're telling each other they love
Yes.
each other.
Oh,
and
we love it.
Like, I was an idiot, I didn't realize, and I was an idiot too, I didn't realize. And then they fall asleep and they cuddle.
Oh my god.
I do like that.
And then actually I kind of like, so it's like sex 1.5 where they wake up and then they have
Actual sex.
penis and vagina sex.
No knee sex.
Vagina.
Penis.
Yes. Vagina.
Penis, vagina. Penis,
It's from New Girl. When Schmidt's like, I'm
Schmidt.
gonna have sex tonight. He goes, penis,
Penis,
vagina.
Oh,
Penis,
boy.
vagina.
Oh boy.
But yeah, and that's basically the end of the fic. That is
Oh.
one of the last things that happen.
Interesting.
Is they have sex, they wake up, and they go, oh, okay, so are we gonna do this? And one of them goes, we can talk about it later. Let's just hang out. And then
nice.
yeah, let's talk about it later. And that's the end of the fic.
That feels very super story of like
Yes.
it's kind of it's a happy ending, but it's
Yeah.
also like it's more realistic. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Like it's a very casual.
Yeah.
Like we're good, but we'll figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
And so, of the fake dating tropes, the pining,
The bet.
the bet, I found it incredibly funny. I loved that, and I know it's hard when I'm telling it to you, but I'm sure it came across just the grasp that the author had on the characters
Oh,
and their
yes.
voices.
On the tone, yeah.
And like even the side characters, everyone
Absolutely.
is fucking spot on.
Yeah.
And I genuinely wish that it was another 10 chapters.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because I was gutted when I was like, oh my God, is that it? Because
Well,
it
yeah.
was so good.
Every time you mention Sandra, I'm like, I have such a clear
Oh,
picture of her doing just that.
Same. Absolutely. And Dina, like, oh my god.
Being
all
like,
of
yes,
it.
I will be the moderator.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
oh, that's so good.
Yes.
That's so
Stop
fun.
fighting. You love each other.
Oh, and that was so at their wedding, someone spikes because they of course get drunk in the break room
As they
because
always
don't
do.
work.
Yeah.
And someone tells Glenn it's not alcohol.
Oh, he tells him it's juice.
So Glenn gets trashed.
He loves his juice.
That's a whole other
Loves his
side
juice.
plot is Glenn just gets trashed and they
Oh
put him to
my
bed in his
God.
office.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
some good shit.
Yeah. Sean, thoughts?
I mean, I think it was probably clear by all of my sounds. I loved that. Oh my god! Like it was. Like you said, a perfect fake dating because it's like you've got the tension of like I don't know. Maybe I do like him. You've got the bet. You've got shenanigans. You've got
Love shenanigans.
It's I don't even think I have any other thoughts. I'm just like melting. And like you said, like the grasp that writer has on how that could be an episode of the show. Like it wouldn't have ended with them actually being married. It would have ended with them just being like, well, that was fun. And
Yeah.
then they would have gone back to hating each other.
Yeah.
But that easily could have been an episode of the show. And that's so hard to do. And like, oh, I loved it.
And that is one of the things I love about fan fiction is every once in a while you will find a fic and you'll read it and go, oh, this is a really talented writer.
Yes.
And they know these characters and they did a
Inside
really
and
good
out.
job distilling this. And I feel the same feeling reading this fic that I feel watching the show.
And I think
Yes.
I think that's a big reason that I was getting so like tingly about it because there are episodes of that show that like make me melt when they have those moments, and that perfectly encapsulated
There's
it.
also episodes because that's a funny show, and
It's
then
so
there's
funny.
episodes of the show that have made me cry.
Oh, same.
And I'm like,
absolutely.
that's a great. It's such a. I think it's a very underrated show.
Absolutely.
I gotta put that on my. That's my Bumble question. I go, hey, how are you? What show do you think is underrated? That's
Yeah.
my opening.
That's
So-
and Superstore is
that's
definitely one
a
of
good
them.
one.
I usually say Psych or Letterkenny. Now I'm gonna put Superstore in there.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's
so.
It's
it's
really
I
fucking
I
good.
rewatched it over the course of the pandemic and showed it to my boyfriend Joe because he had never seen it, and I think that because it was a network show, it came out kind of after the era of like really good
Yeah.
network shows.
People
Like,
kind of wrote it off.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like I was like, listen, like it's so much better than you think it's going to be, and I think that's what I would tell anyone. Like it's so much better than it
My
should be.
parents turned me on to Superstore.
My mom did too.
Really?
My mom did too.
Yes.
Sean was the one that did it. For
I remember.
me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm binging this. It shouldn't be this good. It's
Well,
so
and
good.
I was really happy because the guy that plays Jonah was in Mad Men.
yes,
Yes.
exactly.
And that was my thing, and be like, oh, him,
Yes.
he's good at what he does.
And he's so
I'll
good
check him
at
out.
Mad Men.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's also great in Silicon Valley. He's
Which
great in that
I
show.
have not seen Silicon
I have not
Valley.
finished Silicon
It's quite good, and he plays like the lawyer, and he's oh my god, he's a terrible, skeevy Silicon Valley
He's
lawyer.
got a face for that.
He does. He does such a good job. But yeah, I can't say enough good things. You guys both picked such good stories. I'm like so happy. Right
Killed
now.
it. We fucking crushed
Would you
it.
Would you read both of our stories?
Yes, 1000%. Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah. It's again. Everything I read is on Kindle Unlimited. So get
Areas
the.
on archive of our own. There will also be a link in the thing
Everything
for
she
the
reads
stuff.
is archive of our own. We're gonna do a new thing now. where
Yeah.
we have Sean rate each
the
of them. They're not
podcasts.
against each other.
No, just rating.
Just how many raccoons and trash cans would you give Mr. Silver, and how many raccoons and trash cans would you give? What was it called? I'm sorry.
Out of 5
That's what I was
trash
gonna say.
cans.
Out of 5, and this is my last question. This
And
is our
only on. Yeah, go on.
This is our first time rating it. Is it based on like likelihood to read it, or how it feels based on your description? It matches the trope, because you give like a pretty good description. It could be how it matches the trope based on the research.
Let's do trope. Let's do
trope.
how well does it fit the topic
the
of the
topic of the
episode?
trope. Okay, honestly, I think they're both 5 out of 5 raccoons in
Oh,
garbage
hey.
cans.
Yes.
All
Like
right.
truly, I don't
All
think.
right.
I think they both have kind of everything in there, like a dating of convenience. One is
Yeah.
a marriage, obviously, but yeah, I think 5 out of 5.
Let's get someone to make a graphic of
Little
like a
raccoons
little
and
raccoon.
trash
But like, can they be us as raccoons and trash cans? Chip Nash, shout out to Chip Nash. I know you do graphics. I know you're busy.
Get on it, Chip.
I love you like a brother. Give me this. Give me this graphic.
But no, I like that.
Yeah.
I like rating it. That's good.
Yay. Is that enough of a button for you, Keenan?
It better fucking be. So I think the other thing we have to do, right, is Sean.
Yeah.
So thinking of not just tropes, but
I
also we mentioned, I don't know, Pretty Woman. We mentioned a lot of movies.
Yep.
We
We mentioned
mentioned
pop culture.
Pop
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
Is there anything pop culture or tropes or whatever that you want to hear about next?
We just want to
episode?
make sure you have the option.
Absolutely.
spread.
I think the main reason that I tend to go with tropes is because I know that, like, obviously with fan fiction, there's like I could just do like a Pretty Woman fic,
But I will say I have made a vow to myself that if you ever do name like a TV show or a movie, I will not pick a fic from that
figured.
fandom.
Okay.
I will not cheat
It will be
in that way.
like it.
It will
Okay.
be like
Yeah.
it in some way.
I like
Based
that
off
idea.
of.
Yes.
Okay, which ultimately will be probably because of it. It's fine. So I wrote down mainly tropes. I've got
That's okay.
From this week, I've written down shenanigans.
Yep.
Slow burn. Only one bed. And accidental pregnancies.
Ooh.
Yeah, those are all the ones that we talked about that I feel like could go either way.
Okay.
Okay, I need you to choose between the two.
Okay.
I am between slow burn
Okay.
and accidental pregnancy. Very different.
I will say, I think we reiterated earlier, with a slow burn, it is going to be harder to find, like, there's definitely going to be ones with sex scenes.
Yeah.
It won't be as smutty as things that we have done,
But
which
neither
is
will
fine.
accidental pregnancy. There's not a lot of like
You never know. Breeding kinks?
breeding. I mean, we would be.
Although, I guess that's not accidental, is it?
we would probably be digging into the Omegaverse if we.
I don't know if we're ready for that.
accidental
I think
pregnancy.
Omegaverse should be a second season. I think we should only do Omegaverse.
I
for
could
second
also
season.
go. I can also go with the one that I had an exclamation point next to, which was only one bed.
Only one bed.
Only
Let's
one
do
bed.
only one bed.
Only one
I love
bed.
that. Okay.
Am I going to do Akatar? No, I won't.
You can do it.
It's not a
Akatar.
Kindle Unlimited, I don't think.
Does it need? Oh, it needs to be Kindle
Yeah.
Unlimited. Okay,
That's
yeah.
my whole shtick.
Only.
I thought it was just books.
I love.
Oh, no. That's why I keep saying Kindle Unlimited.
I truly thought it was just a coincidence.
Nope.
That was honestly one of my only complaints with my fic for this one is they missed a prime opportunity
For
only one bed.
for only one bed if
Absolutely.
she didn't have a guest room. And so I was a little peeved by that. But
Me
also
too.
canonically, we do know that Amy does have a guest room.
We do
So I
know
did
this.
appreciate that, but I was a little bit like we could have gotten one more in
We
there.
could have just
goddammit.
been like, it's under construction. He
So,
has to sit with
So
me.
next
It
week,
burned down. Next week, we're doing only one bed.
only one bed.
Yay.
And that'll be our 6th episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're more than halfway through
through the
with
season, yeah, because we're doing
Very
8
excited.
episodes for the season.
And then we have a special 9th.
It has been an honor so far.
Good.
And I'm
You're
having
doing
so
great.
much fun. Thanks, guys.
Hey Jess,
What am I reading?
what are you reading?
So
It's that tone of voice. Hey Jess.
Hey, Jess, what you reading?
this is highly embarrassing, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Nothing
Okay.
can be more embarrassing than anything I ever say
Guys,
ever.
I have been so deep into House of the Dragon fandom. I have been so deep into it.
She's covering her face in
I
shame.
don't think that's a
How is
normal.
that embarrassing?
That's normal. That is
Okay.
such a normal
I
thing
don't-
to read fanfic about.
I know, but I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not gonna spoil it. However, I will say so it's based on a Game of Thrones lore and
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel George R.R. Martin book, so there is already some existing fic about it, but it was really only written by nerds. And now the fascinating thing that's happening that I love to absorb and be a part of is when the mainstream suddenly becomes aware of a fandom that has existed for a very long time. And so it went from like 50 fics to now there are hundreds.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I have been reading Matt Smith fucking in so many ways.
Yes,
so
yes,
many
yes,
ways. And I'm not going to get into it, but I will say, and you'll understand this if you watch Game of Thrones, but they are Targaryens who famously married certain people for themselves. So there's a lot of that going on. And it's a lot to deal with, but it's so much fun. And
There's
Matt
no
Smith
shame in that.
in that weird ass blonde wig is a whole thing, and I'm having a great time.
That's
but the
great.
answer to what am I reading, I can't point to a specific fic because I must have read 100 of them in the last 2 days.
That makes me so happy for you.
So the answer is
Just-
explicit House of the Dragons fanfic is what I've been reading.
His cheekbones.
Oh, they're
It's
beautiful.
Cut cheese.
It's upsettingly bad. It's a lot.
Oh boy.
It's a lot.
Oh boy.
Sean, what are you reading?
So I am still reading Daniel Sloss's book.
Yeah.
Everyone you hate will die. Right?
Everyone you hate is going to die,
and other comforting thoughts about love, life, and something else. It's still great, but I just haven't been in the mood to read very much. So I figured I would also plug a show. I don't think I've mentioned this one on the podcast before, but Reservation Dogs.
Oh, nice.
It's great.
So good. It's on Hulu. It's created by 2 people, but one of them is Taika Waititi. I just can't remember the other person's name. But it's an excellent show. Highly recommend. I've been catching up on that.
Nice.
But yeah, still reading Daniel Sloss's book. I just haven't been.
That's okay.
into
That's
reading.
also
There's nothing
something.
wrong
I
with
mean, we go through phases.
Oh, I know. But I
Yeah.
like to mention the book that I am reading because it is happening, just
Good.
very slowly.
Yeah.
Emily, what are you reading? I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. I'm just waiting. I actually had to pull it up because I could not remember. I did read. I'm not gonna lie. I read 3 books in the last day and a half.
See,
so,
this is why I have to mention books.
but mine are not real books. I've been reading the Playboys of New York series
okay.
by J.A. Lowe, or it's Jallo. I don't know.
I like Jallo.
There's no dots after J or A, so it could be
so
Jallo.
probably Jallo. Yeah.
Jallo. The first one's called Off Limits, and then I really liked that. There's 5 of them, and I read 3. I read 3 of them because I could pick and choose. You are introduced to all the couples or like the people in the first one, and they
For
go
sure.
back. It's all overlapping stories, so
Oh,
they're all
cool.
happening at the same time.
I love that.
So I read
love when those happen.
1, which is called Off Limits, 2, which is called The Merger, and 5, which is called Without Warning.
Ooh.
I will say The Merger is probably the sexiest one.
Well, I mean, people are merging.
They're merging
Thank
together.
You. Thank you so much.
But those are pretty fun.
Cool.
They're a good time.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
I also was asked by, I'll give another shout out to Kim Grossman, she finished reading my book, and she asked for more like it. And I've been trying to think of them, but I couldn't think of any that are just a little sexy and a little mysterious. But I was going through my bookshelf today, and I remembered Meg Cabot, which I have talked about before. I love her so much. Her adult books. There's one called She Went All the Way, and there's another called The Boy Next Door. And they're written in Meg Cabot style, which is it's all like texts, letters, emails, but it's a good mixture of like mystery, and there's like a little bit of spice, and it's a slow burn.
Nice.
And they're really fun, and I just had kind of remembered them today, so I just wanted to talk about
Plug
them again.
those.
Plug those again.
Plug it out.
Nice.
Love Meg Cabot. So
That's awesome.
Cool. Well, I'm in a much better mood now than I was
Me
when we began this podcast.
Me too.
You know, sometimes you can't always be in the best mood when you start recording something, but,
But
like,
you're always in the best mood when it ends.
And also-
Because friendship.
Friendship. Well, we're gonna be back next time with only one bed. And you know what? We're just two raccoons talking about the best trash.
Friendship.
We're 2 raccoons talking about friendship.
friendship.
About the trash.
Bye.
Viewed, everything is lewd. I could tell you things about Peter Pan and the Wizard of Oz. There's a dirty old man.